Friend, I am going to have a child, but his mom was American. Would my baby get confused on his English and Thai together? I fear that another kids would laugh at him.
Hey, congratulations! My advice would be to let your child to be a bilingual. Well, through the early 1980s, your concern was linguists thought too. There was a lot of concern about that happened to babies who were learning two different languages at once, which also known as simultaneous bilingual first language acquisition. Since that until now, a lot of research show that bilingual kids might count all vocabulary and grammar together when they were young. Later on, they can separate out syntax of their language, and they don't mix their grammar together. Sometimes they might do code mixing, but that based on condition.
Sometimes I hear my neighbor speak two languages altogether in one sentence. I thought he got confused. Is that code mixing you are talking about? Could you give me an example about that condition?
Let me answer your question. According to Pope, code mixing can happen at any layer of the language, from sounds to words to sentences. And this doesn't happen with only kids, but adults too. The adult research found it's all conditioned. You switch more or less depending on who you are talking to, what you are talking about, how good you are at both of your language, how formal is it you being, and other factors too. So it's a variety of social cues, not mash up language problems. You see more mixing happening when they are in their weaker language, and you see less mixing happening when they are talking with someone they know only their language. The fact that they can control it all through is a sign that they don't have the same grammar for both language. Apart from that, it's my view that being bilingual opens up social and cultural opportunities. Speaking another language lets you interact with different people, understand the nuances of another culture. This means you might have more opportunities to make friends, explore different hobbies, and better understand your favorite foreigner music, film, and literature. You won't be limited to staying in expensive foreigner hotels, eating at a restaurant where the staff speak English, or trying with a tour group. Instead, you can find your own ways of experiences the country the way a local would. You might enjoy cheaper access to museum because you don't have to pay for foreigner language guide, and you will certainly have more opportunities to meet people, engage in conversation, and learn more about their culture.
I'm seeing what you mean, but do not underestimate that the real world. From my experience, when I speak in Thai with my father, who is Chinese, he insisted that I have to speak Chinese with him. Whenever I do try to talk to him or Thai, he pretends not to understand or puts on such a horrendous accent that I switch to Chinese reflexively. To be fair, I don't mind speaking Chinese with him, except when we are grown, my emotion come in Thai, not in Chinese. So, when I agree with him, I'm always at a disadvantage. Not only does he always wins, he collects my Chinese. I guess you know what I mean.
Also pessimistic.
Sorry, but if I could just finish what I was trying to say, the reasons I should advise you to raise your child to be monolingual is that your kid can't explain himself in only one language, and he will make up words and expressions. As I am, he will never choose whether certain words and expression exist in both languages, like I am. Sometimes I tell my Thai cousin that some things what a shin cake. She just look at me like I'm insane.
From what you say, should I rely on Pope's research or self experiences of I?
I also have a research. Dr. Elance Bystock, a professor of psychology at York University, study claimed that bilingual have minor disadvantages relative to monolinguals with regard to vocabularies. While the size of an individual's vocabulary or lexicons vary widely. On average, monolinguals had more vocabulary in their one's language than bilinguals had in either of their language alone. Also, the time it took the real life was when thinking was slightly longer for bilinguals.
I take your point, but Dr. Allen Bialystok also mentioned that while bilingual students may have a slightly smaller vocabulary for each language as compared to their peers who speak only one language, they gain a cognitive advantage by having strengthened executive functions, meaning they have enhanced cognitive abilities in areas that have nothing to do with linguistics, but rather overall management of cognitive functions. This enhanced executive control boosts bilingual capability in areas such as working memory, inhibitory control, cognitive flexibility, and multitasking. In particular, bilinguals are especially good at tasks that involve monitoring conflicts, a skill one practices a lot if trying to use words from one lexicon while avoiding those from another. These findings appear to hold across ethnicity and socio-economic status. It's important to note that these advantages were seen in fully bilingual students who use both languages regularly rather than occasionally. Also, the longer an individual is bilingual, the more cognitive benefit they get. While these benefits alone are encouraging, bilingual students may also benefit from Dr. Bialystok's findings that suggest that bilinguals have a later onset, about 4 years on average, of dementia and Alzheimer's disease in old age.
I think both of you have raised an interesting point, and it's hard to find a conclusion from my case now. It would be great if we could discuss it later after our lunch.